Good morning, my friends. My name is Melissa from Melissa's Struggling Walk with Jesus. I am using the Amplified Holy Bible and the Navigator's Bible Reading Plan to share the Word of God with you this morning. This is Monday, October 13th, about 9:54 in the morning, and today I will be reading Joshua chapter 1 and 2. So the book of Joshua starts out with God's commission to Joshua, and it says, "Now it happened after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, that the Lord spoke to Joshua the son of Nun, Moses' servant attendant, saying," check out Deuteronomy chapter 34, verses 4 through 8. Verse 2, "Moses my servant is dead. Now therefore arise to take his place. Cross over this Jordan, you and all this people, into the land which I am given to them, to the sons of Israel," where it says arise. The Hebrew verb arise is an instruction to get ready to fulfill a command, somewhat similar to the military command attention. Also in verse 2 where it says sons of Israel. In general, sons, children of Israel, or Israelites, refers to all the people, males and females, of the various tribes descended from the 12 sons. Check out Genesis chapter 35, verses 23 through 26 of Jacob, who was later renamed Israel by God. In verses concerning things such as warfare or circumcision, sons of Israel or Israelites usually refers only to the males. A tribe of ancient people was identified by the name of its founding ancestor. Therefore, this same general rule applies when referring to individual tribe groups. For example, sons of Reuben, Reubenites, and so throughout this chapter. All right, verse 3. "I have given you every place on which the sole of your foot treads, just as I promised to Moses." Verse 4. "From the wilderness of Arabia in the south, and this Lebanon in the north, even as far as the great river, the river Euphrates in the east, all the land of the Hittites, which is Canaan, and as far as the great Mediterranean Sea toward the west, shall be your territory." All right, where it says Hittites. These Hittites are believed to be the descendants of Heth, a son of Canaan, who was the youngest son of Ham. Canaan was cursed to a life of servitude by his grandfather Noah because of Ham's act of disrespect for Noah. Check out Genesis chapter 9, verses 22 through 27. All right, verses 5 through 9 in the book of Joshua is used by my pastor and everything, but verse 5 says, "No man will be able to stand before you to oppose you as long as you live. Just as I was present with Moses, so will I be with you. I will not fail you or abandon you. Be strong and confident and courageous, for you will give this people as an inheritance the land which I swore to their fathers and ancestors to give them." Now, even Joshua had to be reminded at least 3 times to be strong and courageous. Verse 7, "Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to do everything in accordance with the entire law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right or to the left, so that you may prosper and be successful wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall read and meditate on it day and night, so that you may be careful to do everything in accordance with all that is written in it. For then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will be successful." Where it says successful, God's formula leading to Joshua's success is clearly outlined in verses 5 through 9. Alright, starting with Joshua chapter 1 verse 10, the title goes into Joshua assumes command. And it says, Then Joshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Go throughout the camp and command the people, saying, Prepare your provisions, for within 3 days you are to cross this river Jordan, to go in and take possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving you to possess as an inheritance. To the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to the half-tribe of Manasseh, Joshua said, Remember the word which Moses the servant of the Lord commanded you, saying, The Lord your God is giving you rest, peace, and will give you this land east of the Jordan. Your wives, verse 14, your wives, your children, and your cattle shall be allowed to stay in the land which Moses gave you on this eastern side of the Jordan. But you shall go across the river before your brothers, the other tribes armed for battle, all your brave warriors, and you shall help them conquer and take possession of their land. In verse 14, where it says children, other literature has little ones, and so throughout this book. Verse 15, until the Lord gives your brothers rest, as he has given you, and they also take possession of the land which the Lord your God is giving them, then you shall be allowed to return to your own land, and take possession of that which Moses, the servant of the Lord, gave you beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise. Verse 16, they answered Joshua, saying, All that you have commanded us we will do, and wherever you send us we will go. Where it says they answered, this, for example, the Reubenites, Gadites, and the half-tribe of Manasseh. Verse 17, just as we obeyed Moses in all things, so will we obey you. Only may the Lord your God be with you as he was with Moses. Verse 18, any man who rebels against your command and does not obey everything that you command him shall be put to death. Only be strong and courageous. Where it says command, other literature has the word mouth. Alright, chapter 2 starts out with Rahab shelters spies. Verse 1 says, Joshua, the son of Nun, sent 2 men as scouts secretly from Shittim, saying, Go, view the land, especially Jericho, the walled city. So they went and came to the house of a prostitute named Rahab and lodged there. Where it says Rahab, Jericho. Jericho, which is an oasis near the Jordan River, is believed to be one of the world's oldest inhabited sites. Its name is derived from the Hebrew word for moon, implying that it may have been a center of worship for various lunar gods. Alright, verse 2. Now the king of Jericho was told, Behold, men from the sons of Israel have come here tonight to spy and search out the land. So the king of Jericho sent word to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who entered your house, because they have come as spies to search out all the land. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hidden them. So she said, Yes, 2 men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. When it was time to close the city gate at dark, the men left. I do not know where they went. Pursue them quickly, for if you do, you will overtake them. Verse 6. But in fact, she had brought the scouts up to the roof and had hidden them under the stalks of flax, which she had laid in order on the roof to dry. Where it says stalks of flax. Flax was used to make linen, and the flat rooftop of a house was a convenient place to lay the stalks in the sun to dry. Alright, verse 7. So the king's men pursued them on the road to the Jordan, as far as the fords east of Jericho. And as soon as the pursuers had gone out after them, the gate of the city was shut. All right, where it says fords. For example, a narrow or a shallow place where the river could be crossed by wading. All right. Verse 8. Now before the two men lay down to sleep, Rahab came up to them on the roof, and she said to the men, I know that the Lord has given you the land, and that the terror and dread of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land have melted in despair because of you. For we have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to the two kings of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan on the east, to Sihon and Og, whom you utterly destroyed. Where it says utterly destroyed. Where it says Red Sea. Other literature has Sea of Reeds. Also in verse 10 where it says utterly destroyed. The conquest of the land and the destruction of its inhabitants were acts of divine judgment decreed by God and carried out through acts of obedience by Joshua and the sons of Israel. Verse 11. When we heard it, our hearts melted in despair, and a fighting spirit no longer remained in any man because of you. For the Lord your God, He is God in heaven above and on earth beneath. Check out Hebrews chapter 11, verse 31. Verse 12. And now please swear an oath to me by the Lord, since I have shown you kindness, that you also will show kindness to my father's household and family, and give me a pledge of truth and faithfulness. And spare my father and my mother and my brothers and my sisters, along with everyone who belongs to them, and let us all live. So the men said to her, Our lives for yours, if you do not tell anyone about this business of ours. Then when the Lord gives us the land, we will show you kindness and faithfulness and keep our agreement with you. All right, Joshua chapter 2, starting with verse 15, is the promise to Rahab. Verse 15. Then she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was built into the city wall, so that she was living on the wall, where it says into the city wall. Modern archaeology indicates that the house may have been built against the wall, so that the city wall also formed the back wall of the house. Otherwise, it may have been built partially or entirely in the wall. The Hebrew preposition into and in was too wide a range of meaning to be very precise. All right, verse 16. And she said to them, Go west to the hill country, so that the pursuers who have headed east will not encounter you. Hide yourselves there for 3 days until the pursuers return. Then afterward you can go your way. Verse 17. The men said to her, We shall be blameless and free from this oath which you have made us swear. Verse 18. Unless, when we come into the land, you tie this cord of scarlet thread in the window through which you let us down, and bring into the house your father and your mother, and your brothers and all your father's household, so that they will be safe. All right, where it says cord of scarlet. The scarlet cord in Rahab's window may be considered analogous to the blood on the doorpost on the first Passover night in Egypt, in Exodus chapter 12, verse 13. God allowed her life to be saved and also changed. She became an ancestress, as did Ruth, of David and of Jesus Christ. Check out Matthew chapter 1, verses 1, 5, and 6. All right, verse 19. But if anyone goes out the doors of your house into the street, his blood shall be on his own head. That is, his own responsibility. And we shall be blameless and free from our oath. However, if a hand is laid on anyone who is with you in the house, his blood shall be on our head. But if you tell anyone this business of ours, we will be blameless and free from the oath which you made us swear. Verse 21. She said, According to your words, so be it. Then Rahab sent them off, and they departed, and she tied the scarlet robe cord in the window. They left and went on their way to the hill country west of Jericho, and stayed there, hidden in the caves, 3 days until the pursuers returned. The pursuers had searched all along the road, but had not found them. Then the 2 men turned back and came down from the hill country and crossed over the Jordan, and came to Joshua the son of Nun at Shittim, and told him everything that had happened to them. And they said to Joshua, "Certainly the Lord has given all the land into our hands, for all the inhabitants of the land have melted in despair because of us." That is all of Joshua chapter 1 and 2, my friends.